We are going to be doing a powerful healing connection meditation at the end, and that will serve as our prayer to send us out the door. It'll be kind of a long meditation, so buckle up for that. Welcome to Great Life, Greater Impact, everybody. I'm so excited to see you here today. I'm more than excited to see your amazing, beautiful faces. Today, we're going to be talking about discovering your true highest self for the purpose of eliminating suffering and illness in your body. Imagine that. Who knew that that was even possible? We're going to get into how that works and why this kind of connection is so important to all of humanity in just a few minutes. Today, there's just a little bit of housekeeping. As many of you know who have been following me for quite some time, I also do a live group healing session where we do a deep dive. It's an extended version of this class 1 hour after this class is over. So right now it's 10 a.m. Central Time, at noon Central Time, or 11 a.m. Mountain Standard. I'm not going to go through all the others, but then we're going to go live in a group healing session. If you want to get in on those group healing sessions, they're super, super inexpensive to participate in. You can get up to 4 of those every single month if you join my website, Great Life, Greater Impact, and become a member of that website there. There's also going to be opportunity for you, those of you on the website, to get all the handouts from these free classes and the replays in their entirety over on that website. So if you are a member, you're going to get access to all of that stuff. In the coming days, I'm not sure if we're going to do it to this video or not, but we are not going to be posting the entirety of the free replays up on the YouTube anymore. We're just going to do excerpts from the class so you can get some of the really, really great nuggets on there. Most people who are on YouTube like anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 minutes worth, and then they're ready to get off. So that's how we're going to construct those. But if you'd like the class in its entirety, you can go over to Great Life, Greater Impact and get them over there. Along with, we have a gorgeous handout for the class today. This is what Misty put together for me last night, and it's amazing. I actually am going to laminate this handout because I feel like this class is really important. We also have a handout that's going to be going up from last week's class, which was also super powerful, where we talked about the 8 gates to ascension. So if you'd like to grab that handout, it will also be posted around the same time that this replay goes up. So for today, we're going to be talking about the fastest way to get rid of depression and suffering and illness by learning how to tap into your higher self. Before we jump into all of that, I have asked who would be willing to get us started off on the right foot and put us into a learning state, and Anne has happily volunteered to do that. So she's going to lead us in a short meditation. So take it away.
So good morning, everyone. I want to invite everyone to just take a moment, and whether you can, even if people have their cameras off, if you could just take a moment and just scan and just notice people's names or their faces. Because as I take you into this meditation, you're going to connect with everyone here in the group. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and take a deep, deep breath and close your eyes. And as you take that breath, I want you to follow that breath all the way down to your heart center. And just do that 2 more times, following that breath through your nostrils and following it with your mind's eye into your heart center. And as you do that, as you follow that breath all the way down to your heart center, you can begin to feel an energy pulsating meaning that your heart center is now expanding and opening up. And from that place, I'd like you to just expand that light within your body so that every cell, every gland, every organ, every part of your body is experiencing that love from your heart center. And now keep expanding that light and that energy outside of yourself into your own energy field so that everyone that comes in contact with you into your energy field and that space feels that love, feels that energy. Because after all, you're all here to spread love and unity and coming together. And so as you expand that light and continue to expand that love and that light from your heart, I want you to touch and connect with everyone that's here today. Let that light touch everyone so that we're all connected, that we've now created this space of just love and light, so that everything that is offered here today, the gifts from Janet and everyone else, is received with love. Most importantly, know that where we are right now in this world, coming together, connection, unity, community, is so key. So just today, we can begin right here, right now, with this group. But know that you can go out into your own little community, into your own space, and keep spreading that love and that light. We can only do what we have control over, and that is ourselves. So as we connect, feel that energy, feel that love, feel that unity, and feel all the blessings that come from opening our hearts. So take a deep, deep breath, bringing your awareness back and being open to receiving. Thank you.
That was so perfect. That was perfect. That was a prayer in and of itself, a way to connect to one another, a way to connect to God, a way to connect to yourself. Thank you for that, Anne. I really appreciate it. I just love and honor you so much. I can't even. And yeah, if everybody, while we're now in this connected space, if you'll just kind of reach out and extend your energy out, push that light out on the exhale, and just extend your energy out and connect to all that are watching this class and to all that will watch the replay and to all who will benefit from this energy and this unity and community, because that's what we're here for. In this class today, we're going to discover a deeper connection to yourself, to your highest self. What do I mean by the highest self? What I'm talking about is I'm talking about your energy, your essence, your presence, the spiritual, non-tangible, non-physical aspects of you, the part of you that shines out into the universe as brightly as it possibly can. That is what I want to help us all put awareness on today, because in this class, we're going to explore the fastest way. I believe this is one of the fastest ways to eliminate suffering and depression, anxiety, chaos, and any other heavy, dense, difficult, challenging emotional states and mental states that you could find yourself in. So, my gosh, I can't wait to get into this and share it with you. Before we get into all of that, we're going to do a deep meditation towards the ending of this class where I'm going to take you in. We're going to do some healing and connecting. I feel like it's important that we have an understanding as to why. Why is it important to learn how to connect to your spiritual self? Why do you think that matters? If you have an answer to that question, drop it in the chat box or unmute your mic and feel free to chime in. I'm open to answers to that question. And while you're thinking and formulating an answer to why is it so important for us as human beings to learn how to connect to our spiritual selves, our higher selves? Because when you awaken to the deeper levels of your being, the highest parts of yourself, the more spiritual aspects of you, that part of you, that spirit aspect of you is not limited. It's not tangible either. It's infinite, it's eternal. And as you start to awaken to that part of yourself, you'll begin to shed layers of you, of the physical you, that encompass depression and anxiety and chaos and fear. So, as those emotions come up in you, as we start shedding layers of ourselves, because it's kind of scary to shed layers of yourself. But as we begin that process of shedding layers of yourself, just ride the wave. Just go with the flow and be willing to let those energies and those emotions come up and exit your system. Because the illusion of who you aren't, the illusion of the false self or the ego self is scared to let go. Lisa says, one of the reasons why it's so important to tap into our higher self is so that we can live in peace instead of chaos. Yeah. And can you imagine if every human did this inner work? What kind of a world would we create? So today, all 15, 16 of us right now in this class here today, and all however many hundreds of you are going to watch the replay later, we're going to do this work together. We're going to create that place of peace and harmony and unity together as a collective group instead of doing it alone. Okay. When we begin to awaken to our higher selves, we also start to learn what isn't us. So let's talk about that. I want to share 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 8 aspects of you. They're a part of the human experience, but they are not who you actually are, who you infinitely and eternally are. So that's what I'm talking about. I I say this to a lot of people. I'll say things like, you aren't your physical body. That's not who you are. Well, it is a part of you. It comes with you. It is a device that allows you to interface with this mortal physical world, but it isn't the sum total of you. It isn't the divine essence of you. It's parts and pieces. It's mostly ego. And so we want to train the ego to take its proper place and its proper role as being just an interface for you here in this earthly dimension. But we also want for your highest self, your true self, your unlimited, eternal, infinite self to be driving the vehicle and not for your brain to do that work. Katie says, as mind, body, spirit beings, often people take care of their vessels. Yes, we focus a lot on these bodies physically and mentally, but the spiritual health is often neglected and kept from us, hidden and degraded by doctrine, dogma, indoctrination, often neglected. How true that is. That couldn't be more correct. I believe that. We haven't been given the appropriate tools to learn how to connect to our higher selves. And one of the things that I learned as a quantum healer is that the spiritual, when you start discovering the spiritual roots to illness, they can be boiled down to 4 main disconnects in your spirit body. So when you have illness and depression and disease and challenges going on in your physical world and your body and your relationships, usually it's because there's a disconnect to your higher self. There's a disconnect from God. There's a disconnect from truth. And there's also a disconnect from community or others. So when we start reconnecting and putting our awareness on that unity and community and that connection to ourselves, to God, to one another, and to truth, and you can feel that truth in your body, When we start to do that, we start ridding ourselves of depression and suffering. So if you want to rid yourself of depression and suffering, here's how we're going to do it. First things first, though, I want us to talk about what you aren't. The limitations of the external world and your physical body will sometimes prevent you from knowing yourself. They're huge distractions. So I want to list out those 8 things that are kind of distracting you from you, the true you. The first is your body. You are not your body. When you look in the mirror, you aren't your physical body. You also aren't the mirror, right? When you look into the mirror at the reflection of this physical construct that you carry around with you in this dimension, you are not the sum total. The sum total of you is not the body. You can see and sense and feel your body. You can look at your body. Like if I'm looking at my hand like this, I'm looking at my hand, but my hand is not looking back at me. So who inside of this body is doing that looking at your body, either in the mirror or right here in the physical presence? You are seeing your body, but your body is not seeing you back. Your body is temporary. It's not going to be in this construct as it is forever. It's temporary. You're going to, at some point, you're going to lay this material down when you die. And what will be left? What will be left? That's what I want you to think about. Number 2, what you are not. You are not the breath. Often people think, well, the breath is life. Yes, the breath actually gives your body life. It's an activity that's going on, but it isn't you. The breath comes and the breath goes. And at some point in time, when you lay this physical body down, the breath will go and it will be gone. So who are you? Who you are is the parts and pieces, who you are at the highest level, the spiritual level, the parts and pieces of you that don't ever go away, the parts and pieces of you that do the observing and the witnessing in your body and in your life. Your physical body is not doing the witnessing. There's something higher, something deeper, something more luminous that's doing that. So you're not the breath. Number 3, you are not your experiences. Those are just activities. When you look out into the world and you see the trees and the grass and the clouds, all of that stuff is temporary. It's fleeting. It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. The material that makes up this planet, it comes and it goes, and it moves into form and out of form. One day it's a plant, the next day it's in an animal's body. One day you're a human being, the next day your body's decomposing in the ground. So that's an activity that comes and goes. The breath comes and goes. It's temporary. 4, you are not your emotions. Those are also things that are not permanent. They come in and they go. It's like they ride the wave and then they go back out. Everything you see, experience, perceive through your physical senses and through your mind can come and go. These things are not you. These things are activities that one day will go away. They'll pass away. But the essence of you is unchanging, unlimited. It's infinite. It's eternal. It's existence. It's pure presence. It's conscious awareness. That part of you cannot go away and it cannot die. Number 6. Oh, wait, there's a couple more things here. The body is a device to allow you to experience the you that is you, your beingness, the infinity that is you, the intelligence that is you, the light that is you, the love that is you. And your body is a device to allow you to experience that in the physical form. Teachers can teach you stuff. You can gain knowledge. You can read books. You can gather all kinds of stuff and fill up your brain with knowledge and information and data, but not even that stuff is you. Not even that stuff is you. They cannot show you who you are. Your teachers, gurus, books, courses, other people cannot show you who you are. The mirror can't even do that. None of the external things will show you who you are. Number 6, anything that can come and go is not you. Number 7, nothing that you see or perceive through your mind or your senses will show you who you are. The ancient Hebrew word for the mind is Satan, Satan. This comes from the Jewish Kabbalah. So your brain, your mind is not even you. And in many cases, your brain isn't your friend because it will make up stories about you that aren't true. It'll attach itself to belief constructs that aren't necessarily associated with reality. They're associated with filters and programming that isn't you. Number 8, nothing external can show you who you are. Number 9, your thoughts are not you. You are the one perceiving your thoughts, but they are not who you are. You are the one perceiving them. You are the one perceiving your body, but that is not who you are. Any shape or construct or material that makes up mass, that has density to it, that you can witness is not you. Anything that you can witness is not you. Anything that you can see and perceive, you must be willing to ask yourself, who is doing the looking? When you sit in your body and you sit in a chair and you look at the world around you and outside of you and you perceive the sky and the trees and the air and the grass and the people and the things and the density of it all, you must be willing to ask yourself, who is in here doing the witnessing and the looking? There's no shape and there's no word that can reveal yourself to you of who you actually are. Today, we're going to go into a meditation, and hopefully you're going to have a profound experience of experiencing the you that is you, the beingness inside of this body that is actually you, your presence, your essence, your spirit, your consciousness, your awareness. You're going to have an opportunity to experience that part of you that is you. Number 11, you have an idea of yourself, like a mental construct of yourself or a self-image that you've projected out into the world, your self-image. That's not even you. Some people would call that your persona, your personality, the way that you interpret yourself and the way that you want to project yourself out into the world. You have this image of yourself, but none of those things are you either. Think about that. There's something deeper inside of you. Number 12, all the learning and wisdom that you've gained over your lifetime is not who you are. It comes with you, and it is a part of you. It's a part of your experience. It's a part of your learning. It's a part of you gaining intelligence and wisdom. It's a part of you coming here to experience other dimensions, for sure. But it is not the sum total of you. It is not the infinite, eternal expansion of you. Okay. Everyone who has woken up to themselves will experience a war between the true self and the mind. As long as you think of yourself as a person, there's already confusion there and incompleteness. Who I am is not enough. if you think of yourself as a persona or just a person. There's going to be a lack of wholeness on some level. This false persona lives in the mind. This is a force that works against you to try to stop you from just being you. But you, as an infinite being, is not an intellectual concept. You are not what goes on in the brain. You are not the thoughts that happen in there. That is a part of your experience, for sure, but it is not the essence of you. What else? You as an infinite being is not an intellectual concept. It has to be experienced in a way that you cannot doubt it. 13, you as an intelligent, infinite, eternal, conscious being, in your beingness, the spiritual aspects of you cannot be created or destroyed. You have always been and you will always be. It's very similar to when you read in the scriptures where God says, I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. That part of him is what God himself is talking about, or themselves, because we have God Father and God Mother. What God is speaking of in that is divine, infinite intelligence. That part of you has always existed and it will always continue to exist. You can't run out of time. You can't have anything taken from you. You can't lose anything. And you cannot die on that level. Now, your physical body can, your ego can, your mental capacities can, all those things, they can come and go and they can be taken away from you. But the infinite, eternal essence of you, the eternal divine intelligence of you, cannot be created or destroyed. Everything else other than that are the superficial parts of you. But your essence cannot be achieved. It's not a goal that can be accomplished. You're not trying to become that. You just are. It just is. It's just your presence. So like if you died and then as a spirit being, you walked into the room, I could probably sense, if I'm tuned in and tapped in and I'm aware, I could probably sense your presence, your essence, your energy. I could probably sense that with my own spirit self. That's the part of you that we're going to tap into today. So there's many ways that we can connect to our higher self. Today we're going to do a live meditation to help you do that. I have put together a list of 1, 2, 3. Where are they? I've put together a list of different ways that we can connect to our higher selves, and there's about 10. So let's get through those so that we can jump into this meditation, shall we? The first one is the ways to connect to your higher self is to surrender. Surrender to what is. Now, sometimes we go through experiences that are uncomfortable, that are heavy, and that are difficult, and that feel hard and overwhelming. But there is peace that comes when we surrender. And why is that? It's because you're learning how to connect to the infinite you where nothing can threaten that part of yourself. There is no threat to infinity. So when you learn how to surrender and let go and release the need to suffer, release the things that you're clinging to, release the things that you have expectation on, that's where peace shows up. Because now you're connected to the part of yourself that nothing can threaten. It can't die, it can't run out of time, it can't lose anything, and nothing can be taken from it. So there's peace when we surrender to the infinite. And when we surrender to the infinite and connect to it, there is connection to all that is. That's where you connect to God. That's the place that you go, that inner stillness, that inner peace. That place is the place that you go to connect to God and to truth and to all people and all beings and all that is, and to yourself. That's the place where you go to connect to the highest levels of love and joy and fulfillment. That's how you know you're connected, because those are the feelings, those are the fruits that attend it. So when you fight against the limitations that you perceive in your physical mortal world, meaning you're fighting for limitation and lack. So let's say you're struggling financially to make ends meet. If that's all you focus on and that's all you talk about and that's all that ever comes out of you, then that's what you're fighting for, because that's where your focus is. So when you fight against the limitations and you focus on them and you tell the world all about it because something isn't showing up for you that you perceive that you absolutely need because you don't have it, because there's a void, because you're not enough, that's a pretty good indicator that you haven't surrendered, number one, and that you are connected to your ego and not your higher self. Because the ego feels threatened and afraid. Okay. What happens when you fight for those things that you lack, that feel like limitation to you because you have not surrendered yet, and because you're clinging to an expectation of something should happen and it's not happening? And if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to feel bad. If you stay in the circulation of that energy, it's going to, like, when there's a void or an empty space or an empty hole or a vacuum cannot stay empty for long. It's going to suck energy into it. And so what's happening when you focus on the negative or what you don't have or what you are lacking or limited in, you focus on that stuff, that's what you're filling the void with. And that's what you'll then perpetuate and continue to manifest in your physical experience. So in order to change that up and change the energy of that and start manifesting things that do resonate with your higher self, you have to surrender. You have to let go of what you think you want and what you think you need, so that what actually wants to come to you can flow in. But there can't be resistance. There has to be surrender. The lives that we are drawn into in this physical experience is rarely a conscious decision. So when you choose to come and incarnate into these physical bodies, oftentimes it's not always the fact that you sat down with a pen and paper and mapped out this life. In this lifetime, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to overcome these things and I'm going to do all this stuff. Most of the time, this is from my perspective and my vantage point or my belief system, is that it's more about physics than it is about intellect. That when you end this life over here and you incarnate into this life over there, by nature of the laws of physics, you're incarnating into situations and energies and frequencies that pick up where you left off, because your higher self is constantly in a perpetual forward motion seeking to overcome. So your higher self is going to draw itself into, like a vacuum, it's going to get sucked into physical experiences and conversations and relationships and activities that will take you to where you're going, which is ascension. Those 8 gates of ascension that we talked about last week. That's rarely ever a conscious decision that's made. It's more about physics. It's more about the laws of magnetics. Okay. Number 5. No, number 2, sorry. Just kidding. This is number 2. I lost my place. Embrace the unknown. These are all the different ways that you can connect to your higher self. The first was surrender. The second is to embrace the unknown. Instead of focusing on the limitations that you might have, learn to embrace the unknown, which is the essence of your true self. The unknown is where you actually dwell. That's where you live. That's where your higher self is. That's where you exist. That's where your essence thrives, is in the unknown. So learn to embrace the unknown and not expect anything and just surrender to the unfolding of your life from that higher self perspective. Number 3, learn ascension, learn the principles of ascension through challenges. So responding to challenges with resistance, resolution, or release and surrender determines how growth comes to you in the future. So you can either resist it and throw up walls and be sad and mad and depressed about it, or you can surrender and let go and resolve the energies inside your body and release and go with the flow and allow your life to flow and unfold. Doing that will help to determine the level of growth and the amount of ascension gates that you choose to pass through. Number 4, embrace the oneness. What does that even mean? We're going to experience that today. You're going to get a chance to an opportunity to step into the oneness today. So as you do that and you learn what that feels like and experience what that feels like, I would love for you to take the time to embrace those feelings. Step into the oneness, let go of the me versus them mentality. Everybody on here in this class today just went through a brief little meditation where Anne helped us to connect to ourselves, to connect to earth, to connect to God, and then reach out and expand out through expansion to connect to one another. Powerful. Powerful. So I want you to just sit in the stillness of yourself for just a moment. Take some deep breaths in. Take some deep breaths, long, slow breaths out. Drop down your shoulders a little bit and let go of resistance. Let go of attaching to what you think you need and what you think you want. Let go. Just surrender. Let go. And let's instead expand out and connect, integrate. So as you expand your energy out, breathe out and push your light, push your aura out in every direction, above you, below you, in front of you, and behind you. Breathe into that expansion and push that light out on the exhale. And as your light goes out, can you feel it connecting with the energy of the trees, the grass, the birds, the clouds, the sun, and every human? Not just the people in this class, but you can start there. Connect with every person. Look at their names on the participants list and in the videos. Look at their names, look at their faces, connect with their energy, all of it. And as you expand out even more with the breath, think about God. What is your connection there? As your light pushes and extends itself out and expands out in every direction, where does your light end and God's light begin? Where does it integrate? Probably inside of you. So notice the inside of you. Notice that energy inside of you. And just let go of attachments. Attachments are very different than connection and unity and oneness. So let go of all the attachments and all of the courting and all of the things that you're clinging to, that you want and need. Just let go of all that gunk and all the resistance and all the pressure that you put on yourself. Just release and soften and let go. When you breathe out, drop your shoulders down a little bit. Good. Good. Suffering arises from our attachments and our expectations. When we attach to people and they let us down, when we expect things and they don't come, letting go of those attachments helps to alleviate the suffering. Now, that doesn't mean there's no connection. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about oneness, not neediness. Can you let go of wanting and needing? Breathe in, breathe out, let go of all the wanting, let go of all the needing. Drop your shoulders down and just let go. And can you let go of wanting and needing a little bit more than that? And can you let go of wanting so you can experience having? They're two totally different energies. Can you let go of wanting so you can experience having? And release and let go of the attachments and the clinging and the wanting and the needing. Let it all go. Just let go. Breathing into your center, breathing out, drop your shoulders and let go. Put your attention at the base of the spine. Let's go down through the heart, down into the base of the spine. And can you connect the root or your foundation, the base of the spine, with the heart? Can you connect those 2 points? Let's just push that light out again. Feel that expansiveness, that oneness with all that is. Can you allow your conscious awareness to be in and around and through all things? If you really did connect to God's light that is everywhere, now your light is everywhere. Authenticity, meaning the you that is you, the beingness that is your being, that presence, that essence, that aura that is you. Authenticity and mindfulness are ways to connect to your higher self. And true authenticity is the highest vibration that you will ever feel in your body because it's pure love. It's non-limited, undeniable, unrefrained, undifferentiated consciousness. What does undifferentiated mean? It means oneness. There's no separation. It's being present without judgment. When you look out at that tree out there, or the grass out there, or out your window, or in your room, wherever you are, I want you to say to the things that you're looking at outside of you, I am you. And you are me. And can you learn to love it? I am you, world, people, humans, and you are me. Let's go a little deeper. Number 7, there's lots of ways to connect to your higher self, but number 7 is have a daily practice. Do something every day that taps you in and tunes you in to this higher self that is you. If you close your eyes and you go inside your body and you connect to the stillness, who is in here? Who's looking through the eye holes of your eyes at the world around you? Establish a daily practice where you do this every day, where you become so tuned in and so aware. Number 8, letting go of mental chatter. Can you just shut down the brain and the mind and the mental chatter? Could we drop down out of our heads for a moment and just rest down in our hearts? Drop your shoulder as if your heart is this big cocoon, like a womb, and it's holding you like the hands of Mother God are holding you like a newborn baby, cradled and loved and held. Can you drop down into that space inside of your heart that is like the womb of your mother? And breathe into that. Woo! And let go of all the mind chatter and the noise in your head. Number 9, identify what your greatest fears are. I'm going to help you do that right now. As we go deeper into this meditation, I want you to um, hmm, I want you to think about the world around you. I want you to think about all the shapes, all the colors, all the noise, all the chaos, all the people, all the trees, all of the houses, the cars, the constructs. And can you just with your mind, can you allow them to start to disappear as if they're dissolving? Just close your eyes and allow the world around you, all the shapes and construct around you, any shape or construct that that you witness. None of that stuff can show you who you are. So we're going to dissolve it. So take a few breaths. And what would happen if the whole world started to dissolve around you and disappear? Every shape, every material thing disappeared and dissolved into nothingness. Go into the nothingness. Feel into the nothingness. What if nothing outside of you existed, but just your beingness? So there's nothing left outside of you. All that's left is what's within. Is that scary? And what fears come up for you? What are the fears that come up for you as you let go of the whole world around you, everything outside of you? What are you experiencing right now if nothing exists outside of you and you go into the nothingness? Only concentrate on yourself within you. Now, sometimes we have, like I talked about, we have an idea of ourselves. We have a self-image. We have a persona. I want you to let go of the ego and the persona and the you that you think you're projecting out into the world and portraying to others, the you that's been conditioned and programmed. Can you dissolve that a little bit? Because that isn't even you. And as you breathe deeper, letting go of all the tension in your body, I want to invite you to let your body dissolve a little bit, just a little bit. And let your body dissolve a little bit more. And your brain dissolve a little bit more. And a little bit more. All that stuff is conditioning. It's ego. It's an activity. Yes, Jen says, can you repeat 5 and 6 again? Yes, 5 was to release attachments to things and to people. That's what we're doing right now. 6 was authenticity and mindfulness, which is where we're going right now. True authenticity lies in undifferentiated consciousness, meaning there's no splits of your consciousness. It's not broken into parts and pieces anymore. It's just everything and nothing. So can you go out into the everything and out into the nothing? And can you dissolve your body down a little bit? So that was 5 and 6, Jen. What fears come up for you? Take some deep breaths. Let your body just process through all of the information. Your ego does not want to let go of your persona, but your higher self is inviting it to let go a little deeper. Your self-image does not want to let go of yourself, but your higher self is inviting you to dissolve that just a little bit more. Who is in this body and in this idea of yourself, this false persona of yourself? Who is in here doing the perceiving and the looking and the witnessing and the experiencing and the connecting? Who is doing the being? Who is the being that is just being, that just is? Your self-image is not you. Your body is not you. The world around you is not you. How the world reflects back to you is not you. The you that is inside of you is unchanging. It's never ending. It doesn't go away. It doesn't come and go. It always is. It's steady. You have to understand that you are not anything that changes. The essence of the authenticity of you is not anything that changes. Your breath changes, your personality changes, your body changes, your ideas change, your mental constructs, your emotions change. Anything that changes is not you. Number 7 was daily practice. Do this every day. Number 8, let go of the mind chatter. Let go of all the mental constructs and the thinking. Number 9, identify your fears. When you go into the void and into the nothingness, after everything has disappeared, and there is no thing, and you are not a thing, what scares you the most about that? Identifying your greatest fears will reveal to you where you are blocked from your higher self. Lisa and I just did an activity this last week where we were trying to identify what my greatest fear was. And I kept saying, because this is all that came to mind was, I'm afraid that there won't be enough food. I'm afraid of the not enoughness. I'm afraid of not having enough food. Like I'm afraid of starving. It's really a crazy thing, which when I do intermittent fasting, I actually end up eating more than I probably should because I have this deep inner fear of not having enough food. And it's not about the food. What we discovered was that it's about being afraid to feel empty. Whoo, I can feel the fear right now. If I just go into the nothingness and I dissolve my body and my body disappears and the world disappears and I go into the void. So go into that fear. Notice what the fear is for you that's coming up. And can you breathe into that fear and can you just let it go? Can you dissolve it a little bit more? All the things that come and go. Can you dissolve them and let go? And can you surrender and release and let go? Who is the one who is watching your body change? Who's the one that's witnessing your hand, your arms, your face, the gray hairs that come in? Who's witnessing that? Who is watching it? Who is the part of you that never changes? It never sleeps, it never dies. It never attains, it just is all things. Without judgment, without chaos, who is that? Whether you have joy or whether you have fear, who is it that is observing and witnessing and experiencing that? That was number 9. Face your fears and let go. Send them out into the void. Number 10. Let me see if we're ready for 10. Hold on. What is you? You are the constant, infinite, eternal, unchanging, present beingness that sits in the stillness of your body. In fact, it's not even in your body. Your body is in you. Your spirit is carrying your body around. You're not in your body. Your body's in you. Any teaching or thought or idea or belief or emotion or thing that you have learned, just dissolve it up a little bit and send it into the void. Everything that is, all the truth, all the untruth, all the light, all the darkness, the wholeness, the completeness of it all. Can you just go out into the space that houses all of it? Leave everything that is in your mind aside and just be, and breathe into that. Drop your shoulders down, let go of any resistance in your physical body, your name, your age, your family, your desires, your goals, your hopes, your dreams, your fears. None of that is you. It's not you. Your mistakes, your problems, your past, the stupid things that you've done, none of that is you. So hold on to none of it. Hold on to none of it. Let it go. What I want you to do is experience the essence of you, just the beingness, the perfect, bright intelligence that just is. What is remaining that you did not put there? Go into that energy. What is remaining that you did not put there? If everything could be taken from you, what is left? This is the part of you that cannot be taken. It cannot die. It can't run out of time. I don't want you to imagine it. I don't want you to create it. Just accept the stillness of what is, the beingness, the nothingness, the everythingness. Let it just be. Let yourself just be. Don't judge it. Let it be there. Did you create this? No, you didn't. Let go of everything that you have ever created about yourself, because that isn't you. Is this part of you something new? No. It's always been and it always will be. Can it go away? No. It cannot go away. It cannot die. It cannot be lost. This part of you was there before your physical body ever was. Okay. This is the force in you that your brain wants to work against. Because your brain wants to be in charge. Your ego wants to be in charge. And as long as that war goes on between this part of you, the infinite everythingness and the nothingness, just the beingness of you, as long as there's a war between your brain and that part of you, there's going to be incompletion, confusion, and war. And that will create depression and anxiety and suffering. So just keep being, just keep tapping into that beingness and recognize it as you, as yourself. As you do that, every day, your life will move in harmony. Your life will move in harmonious ways. It's not about how can I become, what can I attain, how can I get there? I want this, I need this, I just want to be. Just be. If you want to know the truth, just be. Tap into the beingness. That part of you has the wisdom that will carry you to where this persona of you is going. Ascension. But you can't know it in your mind. You can't get there in your mind. That's not how you get there. You'll never get there through your mind because it can't be created. So stop looking for yourself there and drop down into your body and go into the stillness and the presence and let everything else dissolve until you're there. Yourself is not a personal thing. Those are the superficial parts of you. They're the parts of this experience in this dimension with this body and with this persona. But that is not the infinite aspect of you. The real you cannot be created or destroyed. Can't be achieved either. And where we disconnect the most from it is our greatest fears. So when you allow yourself to go deep into your greatest fears and you allow those to be triggered, that's where you disconnect from God, yourself, truth, and others. And it's in those disconnects that you experience health challenges, depression, suffering, anxiety, pain, grief, sorrow. Those are all indicators that you have disconnected in a gross way from yourself. So go back within and let those feelings and those emotions and those waves pass through you. For sure, let yourself experience the dimension that you're in, the persona that you embrace in this world and in this life. There's nothing wrong with that. But your true identity is divine intelligence and love and light and peace. It's a wonder. Okay. I want to take you through one last little, it's not a meditation, it's more of a, I don't know where I put it. It's more of a mantra, I guess you could call it that. This is another powerful way. So I gave you guys 9 ways to connect to your higher self. The 10th is this. It's gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful, well, love, gratitude, repentance, forgiveness. Repentance is just turning back home to yourself and God and reconnecting again. But love, gratitude, repentance, a turning back home, and forgiveness, those are the 4 most powerful healing energies you could ever participate in. So one of the best mantras to do is something that has to do with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the learning. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the contrast. The things that we experience in this dimension are for our growth. They're not always pleasant. They're not going to be. They're not actually supposed to be always pleasant. And they're also not a punishment. You're not being punished because you did something wrong. It's to give us an opportunity to step up onto higher ground and experience the beingness, the intelligence, the wisdom, the grace, the love that is you. Can you hold space for yourself when you're suffering? Can you hold space for yourself when you're in pain and in deep sorrow? Can you hold space for yourself? Can you hold on to some grace and give yourself permission to just allow yourself to experience what you're experiencing without judging it? Sometimes what seems like a punishment in our lives is actually an action of grace. It's an action of grace by God allowing you to experience growth, allowing you to experience contrast in the way that you do. And some experiences are not sweet. They're terrible. They grind us up to the core. They mold us like clay. They purify us like diamonds. And we complain about the pain and the suffering and the sorrow and the grief and the hardship and the unsweetness of the experiences. And we complain about those things, but we have to not forget to express gratitude for the wisdom and the contrast and the learning. Because your beingness is not suffering. Your higher self is not in a state of suffering. Your higher self is in a state of allowing you to grow and expand and experience all that is, the good, the bad, without judging it. So the best mantra you could ever do is thank you. You know, when I was a little girl, and if I ever acted out, sometimes my mother would spank me. She'd smack me on the behind. And my dad used to say, if your mother ever does that to you again, you need to tell her, thank you. I needed that. And then he taught my children how to say that. He's like, if your mother ever spanks you, you need to look her in the eyes and say, thank you. I needed that. And so in many ways, the things that trigger us the most, that grind us to the core, that shape us, that mold us, that feel hard, and that hurt us the most, at some point, we can hold space for ourselves in a space of grace and say, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the learning. When you discover these things and when you discover to come from this place of your beingness and let that part of you lead and drop down out of your head and just be, your life will unfold in miraculous ways. There will be much more harmony and miracles, greater levels of perspective. I want to share with you what the benefits are to tapping in. More harmony and clarity, like I just said, when you discover your true self and your authenticity and you start coming from that place and living from that place. More transformation, increased levels of spontaneous healing, because the body moves out of a place of chaos and into a place of peace. When your body's in a place of peace, it will heal. By embarking on the journey of self-discovery, tapping into your higher self and reconnecting with the authenticity of who you actually are, we can unlock profound transformation, profound learning, wisdom, clarity, confidence, and a moving away from suffering. That doesn't mean we're all immune to suffering, because we're here to experience those things. But when you embrace the path of authenticity and you surrender and you learn how to connect to God and to all that is, you will experience life from a place of harmony and healing and peace and fulfillment and all the fruits. I have one comment here. I'm going to open it up to you guys. Does anybody have any wisdom, any experiences? Jennifer wrote, I wrote this on the cover of my journal a year ago. I am a loving awareness of my thoughts, emotions, memories, five senses, my relationships, and my mortal identity. And then I had a very trying 10 months. I wrote in my journal often throughout the 10 months, but very rarely read the cover. Thank you for bringing me back to this. Yeah. You know, it's good to have awareness of our thoughts and our emotions and our memories and our senses and the physical activity that we're in, which is this body. But this body is just an activity. It is not the true essence of the authenticity of you. It's an activity that you're having where you're gaining experience and wisdom and where you're learning how to expand your light out in spite of the contrast. Yeah. Yeah. She just said, I'm not those things. I'm just aware of them. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a powerful thing to be aware of that stuff. To have self-awareness is profound, powerful, but more important than that, and more profound and more powerful and more clear and more confident is when you learn how to just sit in the stillness of yourself with grace and let the thoughts and the emotions and the senses and the relationships and the mortal identity, let that stuff play through your authentic self. Man, that's power. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for adding that to the end of this class today. Anybody else have anything that they feel to share? Does anybody want to close us out with a prayer? Katie, I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Luke 4:23 keeps coming to my mind right now, and it's physician heal thyself. And it just reminds me that we're being rooted in the I am. We have that power, we have that authority. That Jesus said, physician heal thyself. And it reminds me of what you were talking about when working with people in pain. I often tell them, and it's so hard for people to divert their attention away from their pain,
Yeah.
you know, and I tell them, I'm like, I know it's hard, but if we can walk in the gratitude, and I say this, I'm like, if we can walk in that energy of the gratitude of it's already healed, we're already healed. He already did it. By his stripes, we are healed. And, um, and so I tell them as soon as that pain starts coming up and you think, yeah, oh, I'm in so much pain, just say, thank you. Thank you for my body. I'm already healed. Thank you. Just try to just start speaking out those thank yous and gratitudes for these earth suits that we rent temporarily, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
mean, they allow us to interface in this amazing experience that we call life, and that is precious and it's sacred, and there's nothing like it. But the essence of the divine intelligence that is within you,
mm,
that is your true identity. That's the
yeah,
identity that should be leading and steering this suit that we're in. Yeah, thank you for that. I
you're
appreciate
welcome. And I'll pray us out if anybody else wants to. I'm stand up. I'll back off.
it. Go for it. No, don't back off. I love hearing you pray.
All right. Ooh, what a great learning lesson today. Thank you, Lord. Thank you that your presence has already been here since the beginning, the meditation. Thank you for the unity of this class, God. Thank you. Thank you for this spirit. Thank you for this time of teaching. Thank you that we're all seeking that unity and that oneness, and continue to show us, God, as we go forth, continue to show us how you created us in that oneness. Let us come into the awareness of our true, authentic self more and more as these layers just continue to go away and in your perfect timing. And let us rest in your presence as more knowledge of how we can do that a little bit more easily in the daily grind and the daily process. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you that you said that you led us with cords of human kindness bound in love. Thank you that you're continuing to do that today, and that you did not give us a spirit of fear, God, power and of love, and go forth. Let it reside and love you. Thank you for Yeshua. Thank you, God. Thank you for the gift. It's You already did it. Let us just walk it out, Lord. It's in his name, Yeshua. I pray these things. Amen.
Wow. 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 Amen. There was a little
Thank you,
bit of,
Katie. Thank you, Katie.
yeah, thank you, Katie. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
You're welcome. You're
everybody, for
welcome.
being here. We are going to jump over in less than an hour. We've got 45 minutes. We're going to jump over to the group Great Life, Greater Impact over on my website. Those of you who are members to that website, You've already received the invite to that in your email. If you have not become a member of the website, you can go get yourself registered for that class. You can pay a separate fee for it, or you can register as a member and you'll get that link to be a part of the group healing. Today, we're going to work on spontaneous healing. So we're going to take what we did today and go a little bit deeper and learn why, how this applies to the healing of our physical bodies. If that pertains to you, I invite you to go over. These live group healings are also stored over in the data bank, I guess, the database of my website, greatlifegreaterimpact.com. And as you become a member, you'll have access to all of those replays, which are the deeper dives where we get into our inner work. So if that's something that you feel that you need, go take advantage of that. Everybody have a blessed rest of your day. And thanks for being here today. Bye.
So, what did you do with Janet?
What are you talking about?
Youthful, beautiful. I mean, Janet was also beautiful, but you seem to just keep getting younger and younger.
It's the lips. My friend Greta, she's jumping on here in a few minutes, and she's like, Janet, we have to talk about your lips. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you never wear enough lipstick. Your lips need to be shown. So I'm like,
look amazing.
I'm not a lipstick girl. I usually just put on, I don't know, whatever's in my little box over there. I will put on the lips for you, Greta. Shout out to Greta, who never leaves her house without red lips. It's true. It's true. Well, and apparently when you wear red lips, then you speak your truth a little louder.
Whoa.